This is how much we know about movies. We just if you want a raw review of movies, you're getting it right here because we don't know shit.
Dad! Fuck, I don't know, man. Is that like nostalgia purposes for kids these age?
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
We get that, Pop.
Fine, I'll Google it through the magic
you don't
of podcasting.
have to Google it. I'm just saying, just take it out.
No.
Not bring it out, or just be better prepared.
Shut your fucking mouth.
I am your father.
Man, sometimes I wish like things would stay at a simpler time mentality.
Welcome to the Two Dads Review podcast. Well, I guess we should just get this thing going. What do you say?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
We are on episode 5 of American Horror Story, titled Boy Wonder, of all things. And before we start doing our recap and our breakdown, initial thoughts on this episode. Last week, if you didn't listen last week, we were possibly considering last week's episode to be one of the greatest episodes of all American Horror Story lore.
Yeah, last week's episode just immediately skyrocketed to fucking argument of number one. Yeah.
GOAT.
Yeah. It was like LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
It instantly went right there. It was like, hey, right. We're literally the two greatest basketball players ever to live. But if you were born before the 80s, you're probably going to say Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. And then you'll spout some bullshit about all of his fucking rings. All right, cool. If you were born
in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s, even in the early 80s, like, you would probably pick LeBron. And I'm 83, and I would pick LeBron over Jordan any day of the week. Because me personally, I think LeBron is just too big of a human being, muscular, physically fit, like, for Jordan to handle. At the end of the day, LeBron would impose his physical will all over Jordan's ass. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says about his competitive level and how he does all this shit. I'm just looking at the two human beings in front of me, and at the end of the day, I would pick LeBron because he's just not really a fucking human being, man. He's a goddamn superhero. Like, right. Jordan is mythical because, like, Jordan, even in his heyday, still looked like a normal human being. He just looked like a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, LeBron looks like he was fucking carved out of goddamn marble, and someone put a fucking spell on the marble and said, "Come to life." And he decided to play basketball. Like, that's the difference between the two of them.
Seems like a horrible waste of magic, but yeah.
Too, probably, yeah. You can cure cancer or make the greatest basketball player ever. Oh, basketball all day, baby, right?
Well, so is last week Jordan or is last week LeBron and this week Jordan? Which one's which? Is this week? I wouldn't.
Well, last week's episode is still the champion. This week episode is like maybe like a Horace Grant on the Bulls championship teams, or Kevin Love on one of his good days with LeBron James on the Cavs. Yeah.
So you're saying a good follow up? Is it like the Scottie Pippen to the Jordan?
No, it's not a Scottie Pippen, because Scottie Pippen's a top 50 player, like top 50 player of the decade, man. This episode is more like, all right, it wasn't bad, but I was disappointed by the end of it. Like, I was like,
really?
I was like, all right, yeah, like, it just, I don't know. I didn't think it was that great of an episode. Like, I liked the stuff that I saw on it, but I don't understand why fucking Stevie Nicks was even remotely in this episode. Like, that was just stupid. Hey, here's fucking 8 minutes of her singing for no goddamn reason. Dumb. Don't give a fuck.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Don't give a fuck how famous she is. Wasn't needed. I did appreciate the callback to the silent films.
That was cool. That was a cool section.
Like, I like that because that was just fun visually. But again, really not needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the grand scheme of things, if we're going to go compare it to last episode, like this episode was just
good,
goofy.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, it was almost as if the writers were like, okay, man, like we're really about to drop some heavy shit on people. Like we need to throw in some, like they were doing like the sandwich method. Like, here's your bad stuff. Oh, here's some fun stuff. Hey, look, it's Stevie Nicks, everybody. The witches are back. And then here's your bad shit. You know, like, I don't know. It was an okay episode. I wouldn't even say it's good. Now, okay, I would say like when, you know, Miss Kathy Bates came on the screen and her interactions, like I loved it. Like it was great. Like it's weird. What I saw, I enjoyed. But overall, for the story, it was all right. Whatever. This is another fucking fluffy episode. It's just filler shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you back a little. I'm gonna rein you in just a hair and see if this helps. It was a good transition. You're getting us from the Boys Academy to, spoiler alert, because that's what we're gonna do this whole episode, to the murder house. We're going back to murder house. We're going back to
the beginning.
We're going back. I mean, Jessica Lange is going to be in the next episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool for a hype
going to be...
Dude, it's like, okay, this is what this episode was then. This episode was a bridge. This episode was a hype man.
Yes.
But, so this episode was a hype man with the stuff that it kind of dropped. But then if you actually watch the episode, so like you got there for the hype man part. You're like, sweet, this is my favorite hype man ever in the rap game. And then some little bullshit rapper fucking walked out and the actual concert you showed up to sucked ass. Like that was this episode.
Well, I hope that concert that sucked ass isn't the next episode, because I think it's going to be.
No, I don't think. I'm saying like this episode was like having your favorite hype man in like a rapper, like just the guy that makes the best sounds. You're like, dude, I love that guy. Like you could put him in anything. Fucking bring him on. So he's there. You're like, awesome, great. This is going to be a good show. Because it gave you a couple good things. And then the actual rapper came on and you start actually watching the show and you go, this really isn't that good. There's a lot of bullshit going on in this fucking episode that doesn't need to be here.
Right. Well, let's at least agree the fact that following up last week's episode is a really, really hard thing to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like
you could not have, there is almost nothing they could have come out of the gate with that would compare to what last week did for us. And I think most people who watched the episode last week.
Yeah, no, last week's episode was great. I just wish they would have kept with the tone. Like, it didn't need to be
stylized.
Like, the crazy bombs that were dropped previous episode. Just keep with the tone. Like, you guys were doing great. Having him go to hell. Awesome. Old-timey thing. Okay, I'll look past it because it was just quick. You know, like, at the beginning. But then Stevie Nicks coming in, and it was like, well, why the fuck are you guys doing this shit? You're bringing in an unnecessary tone to the show.
Well, I'll tell you what it is that the story they had to tell between her passing out and Madison arriving at Murder House was not an hour episode. So that's number one. If you're ever singing an entire song in a 1 hour show, they were like, we need to fill some shit. We need to fill some time. So let's bring in Stevie Nicks and she can sing an entire song.
Yeah, like I wish, like when Stevie came in, I was like, cool. This is pretty sweet. Like she's got obviously a very unique voice and she's a talented singer, right? I thought she was actually going to do some witchcraft. Like I just didn't think they were going to bring him in and be like, this is basically what happened. This was like, hey, rich people, look at the other rich person I brought in. Oh, they're going to fucking sing. Like, and then they just paraded. That was it. It was just a parade. They paraded her in the show and then they took her ass off. Like, why couldn't it been like her telling a story or her actually being a witch, right? Like, I just don't understand why it was like 5 minutes of just her fucking singing a song.
Do you think that, do we know if Stevie Nicks is okay, so she plays herself in the show. So she is Stevie Nicks in the show.
Yeah.
In case okay, so do we know or not know if her music is her power?
Because I don't think so, because
I felt that during that performance in this episode, it was right after Misty had said that she was telling Cordelia that she was still lost and that she couldn't quite place herself still. And like during the song, there wasn't just the music, there was like the sound effects they use. There was a few spots where there was like the sound effects they use for like when magic happens, that like low hum or whoosh or whatever. And I think it happened during the song. And I'm wondering if, especially when she brought Misty up to dance, if that's like healing her. And that's why Misty was so like happy at the end, like of the song. Cause like she was like, Misty felt she was all back. I kind of got that feeling from the song. Like it had to be, it couldn't be more. It had to be some sort of purpose to it.
Nope.
Nope.
It was the same reason they bring Stevie in every time, for her to fucking sing. I mean, even in Coven, like the big thing was her singing, and then it was kind of like, I'm still the baddest bitch, and then she was out. Like, I don't know. So maybe singing is her power. Like it bleeds into the room, you know, and helps out whatever the situation is. You know, certain songs cause certain feelings, you know, empath or whatever. Then fucking tell me that. Like, just don't parade Stevie out there and then go, all right, guys, guess what? Special guest of the episode, Stevie Nicks is gonna sing her hits. It really bothered me. Like I'll tell you, when she was on the screen, my right directional arrow on my keyboard skips 10 seconds ahead. I hit it like 7 fucking times to get off of that scene.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't care about her singing. Nothing is happening. I hope someone tweets at me like, you should have paid attention to the background. But at least
your co-host is right.
Yeah, like at least then fucking it would make sense. Like to me it was just stupid. Like it bothered me so bad. You got me mad now.
Anytime that you use an entire song, I know you're just like filling the 42 minutes you have to fill for that runtime of the hour episode. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're telling me you only had 39 minutes of actual material when you got done editing. So it's like, oh shit, bring in Stevie Nicks. Let's have her sing.
And I feel like it was just like a waste of talent, right? Because there's so many things that go on in this episode. One, why was the Warlock playing the piano for Stevie Nicks? Like, there is such contention between a house of witches and a school of warlocks right now. Like, why would he be like, oh, hey, you brought in the white witch. Cool. Let me lay down this fucking piano tune for her. No, they're all like, finally, we're better than witches. If anything, he would have been like, play me the fucking piano. I'm going to sing for you. We're at the top now. Like, it didn't make sense. You know, like, they're literally at each other's throats right now, and then Homeboy's over there just, like, twanging the fucking ivory.
Right. But she'd already... But
that's what I'm saying. She entered the place without anyone fucking even, like, noticing or caring, apparently.
It's because she's friggin' Stevie Nicks, man. She's the White Witch. She do whatever she wants to.
But she's beneath the Supreme. And old fucking Damien's already proven that he is the alpha.
Damien.
You know, like...
It's all for you, Damien.
Yeah. It just, like, not only did her... And I'm going to still keep going on. Not only did it bother me that it was just a fucking song to have a song, but it almost brought everybody together, right? Like,
maybe it's her power, man. Maybe it's her power.
I guess. I hope so. Then she better be singing some sweet tunes this whole fucking thing. I don't know. It was dumb. It was just dumb.
Okay, so beside the singing, there was a lot of good stuff in this episode, though. A lot of stuff that was hinted at last episode. You were absolutely right with the way the episode started. We picked up literally in her vision. Mm-hmm. And she like wakes up and it's like the Robichaud house, and it's just like the sign and like rubble. And then zombie looking thing. I mean, I'm going to call them zombies because they friggin' Walking Dead did her at the, you know, they got her. Like she was trying to use her powers and then just all kind of hopped on her and just started gnawing away.
Yeah. I mean, if that's not a zombie, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, you know, the zombie and good. American Horror Story is not one to skimp on the gore, but they may have called in the, it's on FX though. It's not on AMC. So it's like, so who does like the neck ripping? Because they did it good because it like pulled something out with it that was still attached. Like I was like, who? I was like, should not be eating this bowl of ice cream I have right now. Yeah, it's like I should not be eating during this. This is not a good idea.
Was a poor choice of food during that scene, man.
Yeah, right. I know not to eat during like, you know, Well, used to not eat during Walking Dead. No one dies by zombies anymore, pretty much. So it doesn't really matter. But back in the day, man, it's like
I could never get into that show. I tried.
I know. It's almost gonna be over, so you can pretty much binge it at the end of all this.
Yeah, which is what I'll probably end up doing. Like I'll now that it's over, I'll just go, all right, I'm gonna go fucking check it out.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably hate it still.
So she I do like also like as she's but right before she gets attacked, she's screaming, she's like calling out to all of her witches. And I even noticed, I was like, she calls out to everybody except Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Like she
Yeah, that shit was great.
That was I was like, oh damn, she forgot Madison. I was like, I wonder if someone's gonna bring that up. And then, she sees the cloaked figure at the top of the stairs still in the vision, and I'm guessing it's Michael, but it's the white white faced devil or whatever they called it. White faced demon. Is that what they called it? White faced demon. That's what they called it. And he's laughing, just maniacal laughter. Pretty much, what all evil villains do. And then she wakes up and she's in the library. They took her downstairs, and then Myrtle informs her that she was calling all their names, and Madison's like, "You didn't fucking call me, bitch." That was the best. But yeah, so, Cordelia, once she gathers herself, she realizes she's didn't imagine the fact that Queenie and Madison showed up, so she gives them a big hug, and Madison has some great lines this episode. And her with and next episode when she's gonna be with Chablis, the dude warlock, like that's gonna be magic again. Like the two of them, because they were great at the very end of this episode. Like their back and forth was just it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. It's like a prize fight, man. Right?
Right.
Just I kind of hope they take a little bit of time, and like I know we're catching glimpses of Mallory in the past.
Mm-hmm. Girl's got some powers.
Yeah. She's basically already done the 7 wonders
without having to do it.
Without really fucking having to do it. Like when she brought that baby deer or that deer to
No.
I'm correcting myself. When she brought that deer to life and then fucking said, "Hey, you want to be young again, homie? I got you too, dude. Go live it out. New life.
Right.
Start over.
I'm fixing all your broken shit, and I'm going to fix all the age as well. You're going to be all like nice and young again." Yeah. That was crazy. So after giving everybody hugs and Madison getting to be like, "You seem to have forgot I'm not a hugger," and Cordelia's like, "Tough shit."
Yeah, I like how every character with Madison, it's like you're a bitch, but you're our bitch, right? Like, kind of like the only thing I could ever equate that kind of shit to is like Wally and Leave It to Beaver, man. And that's an old fucking show. Mm-hmm. But Wally would always pick on Beav, man, just fucking unmercifully in that show. But if anybody from the outside came to pick on Beav, man, Wally was like, "Dude, I'm gonna fuck you up. Don't mess with my little brother," kind of thing. Like, and that is the only thing like I can equate that kind of friendship to is they're like, anybody that still has a group of friends has that friend.
Right.
They're like, yeah, he's a little rough or she's a little rough around the edges, but that's our girl. Like, that's my boy. That's my homie. But they're really kind of an asshole, but they're just your asshole. Like, that's Madison for them. They're like, yeah, she's a bitch, but you know what? She's ours.
Right. Cordelia demands to see the boy. And so you get the Warlock Council and Michael meet the witches, all of them. They're in the fire lobby now. And Cordelia,
I love how you still call it
the fire lobby, dude. That's what I call it. I gotta label the places on my notes so I know where we are. She thanks Michael for bringing her girls back to her. And Mike, I like his response. He's like, I wanted to get your attention. It's like, okay, well, you did.
Yeah, I didn't. It was weird. Like, I didn't take it as like a dick remark from him. I mean, it's the way the actor plays. Like what I'm saying. Like, we all know he meant that as a slight, but even the way he said it and his facial expressions, it was almost as if he was like a little kid that saw their idol. Right? He was like, I wanted to get your attention. Like, so I did this really cool thing out of fucking nowhere so you would notice me kind of vibe to it. But we're all like, Oh, man, you underhanded motherfucker, dude. You are just saying that shit with salt.
Yeah, he plays that, like, timid, young. He puts that out there. Like, he's just like, I'm just a kid. Like, I'm no threat to you. I just want to get your attention.
Yeah, dude, he acts that part so well. And even when he, like, cuts eyes at people, you're like, ooh, you're a mean motherfucker, man. Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how a face that pretty and that nice looking can, like, emote that range of stuff. And it's weird because he also plays basically emotionless face to a goddamn T as well. Like, this is a really good actor.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. So to the council, to everybody there in the lobby, she reveals what was in her vision, the destruction she saw, and she said she saw a white-faced demon. With all this going on, she agrees in 2 weeks at the rise of the blood moon, and during Roanoke, the blood moon is when the ghosts in Roanoke were at their highest power.
Yeah,
so they're bringing a little Roanoke in there.
It's basically kind of stating when the veil's the thinnest.
Right.
You know, between the worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's going to conduct the 7 Wonders test for Michael at the rise of the blood moon, so in 2 weeks. So Myrtle loses her fucking mind. Of course she's going to. And Cordelia states if he passes, he'll be the next Supreme. So everything's in motion now. So everybody splits and goes their separate ways back at Miss Robichaud Academy in Cordelia's, I guess, room because she was getting undressed. Like, her and Myrtle come in, and Myrtle is just beside herself. And she questions how they could let a man attempt to take the 7 Wonders. And she even says,
"You know the Alpha is a child's tale, a lullaby impotent men tell flaccid little boys to make them believe one day they'll be something special."
Mm-hmm.
Which is not surprising coming from her or them. And she, and then she has some good lines because she's like, the hubris of men know no bounds. Have we learned nothing from Attila the Hun, Herod the Great, Mark Zuckerberg?
Yep.
There was tweets, like, I was live tweeting it, but I was reading through the stuff, and there were people who were just losing their shit over her, the way she hollered Mark Zuckerberg. It was great.
The witches are doing a really good job of showing probably what it's like most of the time for every other people outside of white men to, like, endure certain shit, like, just the fact that, like, how she rattles off that, like, flaccid boys, impotent men, blah, 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 blah. Like, those types of stories are the stories that get passed down from generations of being in power. Like, like, that shit just doesn't
roll off your tongue normally.
Yeah, roll off your tongue unless you've heard it for fucking generations. And the witches have been the predominant power for generations. So it's kind of fun.
Eons.
Yeah, really. And so it's kind of weird and cool at the same time. Oh, shit.
What the fuck was that?
Okay, so I was talking, and I guess I was squeezing my sour excitements case a little too fucking hard as I was talking because I was getting all ramped up, and I made it explode. The fucking mint shot all over the place.
Okay, so it's not water? I thought that was ice. Okay, because I was, like, freaking out like you just, like, blew an entire bucket of water and ice all over you.
No, man, just a big thing of mint.
That's okay. My wife ordered. So all the kids are getting at Halloween. They come to our door this year is Airheads, which I was like, I'm good with that. Whatever's left over.
Oh yeah.
They had like a deal on Amazon, like 25 pounds of Airheads for like $40. And I was like, well, shit. You go buy a 5-pound, 10-pound bag of candy at Walmart. You're paying $8 to $16 depending on what it is. I was like, go get it. That'll save us half the money we would normally spend on candy.
Yeah, I don't get trick or treaters.
I literally have, that's why you guys come to my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They're all condensed right here. We're going to get all kinds of candy. And all the kids are getting, I mean, it's a box. Like the poor, I feel bad for the mail lady who had to drag it to the front door. Because I picked it up, I was like, what the, I had forgotten she'd ordered. I was like, what the fuck did you order from Amazon? Anyways, so during Myrtle's outbreaks or outbursts about, letting the boy take the test, Cordelia ends up with the same problem that you see. It's kind of a trope you see in most movies and TV shows that involve someone who's seen the future. They start questioning whether their action or inaction will cause what they saw. So while Myrtle's saying, don't get a test to a boy, we've never done it before, Cordelia's like, well, if I don't give him the test, what if my inaction causes this destruction? Because it's what we would always do. We wouldn't even think about this. So it's that whole like, do I do it? Don't I do it? What's going to cause what I saw in the future?
Yeah, dude, that would be the worst thing ever. So like see into the future,
but not know how you got there.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Basically to be blindfolded the whole way except for a certain part. You're like, well, fuck, that does me no good.
Right. And Myrtle even brings up, like you said earlier, is that they have someone in there within their walls that is powerful enough to possibly take the test. And talking about Mallory.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tells the story about the deer, and we already talked about the fact she brought it not just back to life, but de-aged it as well. So she undid the wounds and made it younger. But then Cordelia lets Myrtle know that she's dying. Like her power is fading. She's fading in, as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird, like,
shimmery
Wolverine auto-healing shit thing that was going on.
It was like, it looked like scales almost, but like shiny, and I don't know what it was. It was weird. Whatever's going on with her, but she's going away. She's fading.
Yeah, I wonder what that actually means. Because later, like, I think there was a scene where it was like the whole group, and I think it was towards the end, or I don't know, it doesn't matter. But basically, the guy was like, you know, as always, when a new Supreme comes in, the old Supreme fades. So it's like everybody knows this. So I kind of wonder, like, what does it mean? Do you just literally fade out? Like your whole body will just go like, oh, I was a Supreme and now someone else is more powerful, so I must just like visibly rot? Or do you just not powerful and you just turn to old age, you know, thing? Because the way it looks like when the scales get tipped in whatever direction, right? Like if you're not Supreme anymore, you just instantly start dying, like literally rotting.
Right.
Fuck that.
I don't know.
I wouldn't want to be the Supreme in the first place then anyways. Like, that's a terrible way to go out.
Right. She turns into like a Force ghost.
Yeah.
And actually, I have to give the actress who plays Myrtle, who has been in everything, you know, she's been around a long time, but like she starts like bawling pretty good when Cordelia reveals that she's dying, and she's like, oh, you were still, just when you were in your prime or something, you know, that was kind of heartfelt.
Yeah.
And then Mallory enters the room. She announces that the old girls are settled. So Queenie and Madison are back to their rooms, and that her 2:00 is here. So there's an appointment that Cordelia had set up, and that appointment reveals itself to be Coco and her father. And then we learn of Coco's marvelous magical powers, which is that
I'm a glue detector.
And I couldn't tell, because of the way she is, I couldn't tell if she was playing humble but knew that she had saved her brother's life, or whoever it was that she knocked the biscotti out of his hand. But she was like, but she's also like hates her power because it doesn't mean anything. It's like she thinks it's shit. I like how Cordelia put a spin on it. She's like, but you can detect things that are dangerous. So that's a start. We can work with that.
Yeah.
So good for her. But, you know, watching Coco drink a martini and then having all the skinny rich bitches in Hollywood like be like, hey, what's is this says it's gluten free. Well, you can't trust the government. They're fucking, the FDA's a fucking joke.
I even tweeted about that. I was like, I love how American Horror Story is one of my favorite things that American Horror Story does is they will say important shit in passing.
Right.
And like, if you don't think about it or don't catch it, you won't notice it. But like, the FDA is a fucking joke.
It really is.
The FDA gives zero information in labeling, and the FDA like fucking approves the weirdest shit for no fucking reason. Like, the FDA is, it's a scary fucking thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't want to look for. You don't want to know where your food came from. Just eat it.
Yeah. The FDA is one of those things, like, until you are confronted with having to deal with something that the FDA has either approved or labeling that the FDA approves, you don't realize how incompetent that whole fucking organization is.
Well, it's federal government run. Of course, it's goddamn incompetent.
Yeah, that's such a... You know, man, like, how awesome would it be to be like, my government's great, right? Like, the things that they do. Like, you may not agree with, like, the leaders and stuff like that, but how nice would it be to go, I really appreciate the government's services. Like, because the people within it gave a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the problem. Like, everybody goes, dude, I just want a government job so I don't have to fucking work.
Right.
Because once you get one, you're basically unfireable. You go get a GS job, you're basically unfireable at that point.
Pretty true.
Like, you gotta do some really bad shit, like kitty porn or something like that, to get fucking immediately let go, because they will just try to move you somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Watch Parks and Rec. They'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Seriously, they fucking break it down for you.
I finally picked up that show. I'm on the very start of it.
Oh, it's such a magical ride.
I know. Let me ask you a question. Have you watched Big Mouth on Netflix yet? The cartoon?
Kid with the braces? Is that the
He's not with braces. There's somebody in the show has braces, but
I haven't watched it, but yeah, go ahead.
You want me to tell you why you're going to watch it? Because Nick Kroll is the main character. I'm
not a huge fan of Nick Kroll, man.
From The League? Are you shitting me?
Nah, dude, I don't think Ruxin's like.
Okay, well then never mind. It's still funny. You should watch the show. I just watched.
No, I mean it may be. I'm just saying, like, if that name was on a banner in front of, it's not gonna make me want to go see it any more or any less. Like, I thought he was great in The League, but I also hate his mouth.
Well, this is a cartoon, so
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, he has one of those faces and mouths that, like, I can visualize. So when he does, like, S-y words where saliva's built up and stuff like that, I can picture it all in my fucking head, and I can see his mouth. Like, that's how much he's been ingrained in me now, and that I almost can't stand it. It's like, it's essentially slurping fucking soup to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh god, that's the worst sound ever. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah, do not watch it around your children. It is not family friendly. It may be like teenager friendly only because but only if, maybe you're a teenager.
Well, yeah, probably only my teenager, because mine's a 25-year-old fucking man.
True.
Did you watch F is for Family? I know we're sidetracked from American Horror Story.
No, I watched, and I love Bill Burr. I love his comedy, but I watched like one or two episodes and it didn't super hook me. Like,
really?
It didn't. Yeah, I mean, I tried. I have it on my list, so I may go back to it, but it didn't like super hook me. I understand. It was enjoyable, but not like, I was crying watching Big Mouth, and I watched 2 episodes while I was waiting for you to finish whatever you're doing this evening before we started recording.
I watched Tag with my son.
Yeah, yes. You're watching a movie. I was watching a few episodes of Big Mouth, and my wife was just staring at me like, she's like, I cannot believe you're watching this. I was like, this is the funniest shit I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I have to give it a try, man. Yeah, but dude, F is for Family, man. That was like one of those shows where I stumbled upon it, and then I realized who was in it, and I was like, oh shit. And I think by like the 3rd episode, I was probably in fucking tears, laughing my ass off, because to me, that family is like the quintessential American family. Like, I was lucky. My parents never got divorced or any of that shit. But even some of the stuff that, like, they talk about and joke about is like, I remember those conversations, like accidentally hearing parts of those conversations that my parents had, you know, and I remember living next to the fucking swinging kind of guy. My parents were always like, yeah, that's fucking, what's his face? He's single. And like, drove a Thunderbird. Like, dude, I was like, oh my God, man. Like, they stole this shit out of my head. I just kind of, I don't know, it clicked for me. I was like, dude, I love everything about this fucking show.
All right, well, if you said by a 3rd, I'll make sure I get through 3 then. Because sometimes the pilot is like overthought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it had a pilot sitting. And so I'm trying to think if I watched the 2nd episode or not. I'll have to check. If I didn't, I'll go watch it. So I'll give it a few episodes.
Yeah, you know, because Laura Dern's the mom in it.
Why do I know her name? Who is she?
Oh, she's the lady that went all kamikaze in Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Unless I'm just talking out of my ass and I'm totally mixing people up.
Oh, Oh, Kamikaze. Okay, Kamikaze. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I got you.
Okay,
I was like, I don't know her name. Yeah.
I saw your puzzled face, and I was like, oh my god, am I that fucking far off? I was like, jeez.
When you say Star Wars, like you need to. There's not just like prequel. You got to name the movie now. There's like 8 out. Come on,
she's
man.
the only one that went fucking kamikaze into a ship. She's the only one.
Well, okay, you should have said Lightspeed Kamikaze. I may have gotten it. Then.
Okay, sorry.
But you're right. Jurassic Park gave it away. I was like, okay, Laura Dern, I got you. I'm not horribly great with names. Everybody who's listened knows that.
Nor am I. I got friends that I still call pal because I'm not sure their fucking first name.
You're that guy at work. Uh-huh. Hey, man, I know everybody at work because their name is Man. Hey, man, How you doing, dude? What's going on?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, dude. If I don't work with you on like a regular basis, I don't fucking know your name. It's not that I'm an asshole.
Well,
I literally just. Okay, yeah. So, back that up a little bit.
You are an asshole,
yeah,
but
I am an asshole. I try not to be an asshole. And if I don't remember your name, it is not me being an asshole. It is genuinely because it takes me you telling me your name probably 3 or 4 times, or me constantly being around you for like a day and a half at least. But if we're just like passing cubicle buddies, I'll probably have to like gander over at your name tag on the wall to remember your name.
Right. I may or may not have gone to our county's real estate site to look up the name of the owners of the home 2 doors down so I could tell my son what their name is. Like, yeah, that's Miss Cindy. Say hi to Miss Cindy. Mm-hmm. I only know that because I looked it up on the internet because I have no clue. All right, back to the show. Okay,
that wasn't a bad little side trip. We talked about 2 good shows and brought some people into some other stuff. See, we're not exactly. I don't feel bad about that one.
Go watch Big Mouth. That's right. Go watch F is for Family.
Which is funny because I have F is for Family pulled up and it says similar shows you may like. Big Mouth is the first one that's right there.
Right. My wife and I both tried the new one that's by Matt Groening by the Simpsons folks.
Oh, did you like Enchanted? You're stupid.
As I shake my head. No, on a podcast. Sorry, everybody.
You might be broken, dude. I like that one, man. I chain watched that one. That was one that I started, and I would look at the time and go, "Fuck, it is 3 a.m. Like I gotta go to bed." Like I would bring my laptop with me, and I chain watched the shit up. Watch Enchanted. My co-host over here is broken at the moment. Like I don't know what else to say. Disenchanted is great.
You'll come back next week and be like, Big Mouth was the worst shit I've ever fucking seen. I'll be like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Like, how are we friends? This is where our friendship starts to fall apart. We finally found something.
The podcast got so weird after that episode. They just fight all the time. Oh my god,
how terrifying would that be? Like, I watch Big Mouth and then this is never the same. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do, dude? I cannot afford to have this go away.
Right? I need this. Not for any money. We don't get any money. This is all just for fun.
Yeah, no, this is literally stress management for me. Because I can have the shittiest fucking day in my brain. And not even a shitty day from outside influences. It's mostly just my brain kind of kicking me in the ribs. And I can start doing this, dude, and I fucking forget about everything. Like, I truly love doing this with you. And I really appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Don't you delete that. I want everybody to hear that.
I won't delete that. I don't delete any of this shit out. I will delete me looking up Laura Dern, though, on the internet because I couldn't remember who she was.
Oh, yeah. You might want to.
All right. So at the end of the Coco scene, we see when her and Mallory first meet. And to be honest, Billie Lourd, in the shows we've seen her in, she's not a real smiley person in any of her shows. And, like, it was kind of nice to see her, like, genuinely smile in character. You know, did you notice that? Like, I haven't seen her smile. She didn't smile during Scream Queens. She didn't smile in Star Wars, and she hasn't smiled much in this show. But recently, like this past episode and the one before, but this one she was like nice and beaming at Coco, and I was like, you have a very pretty smile. You should smile more in your parts, but you don't get parts that make you smile.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, she's always kind of either played a ditzy, stuck-up girl or like a down to business. Like there's really never been a, hey, you just won the lottery feeling or found the love of your life feeling within her characters written. But dude, I bet you she's one of those people that probably in real life maybe doesn't smile a whole lot. Like she kind of always has like a side smile or whatever. But then like every so often that full on cheese will come out and it just probably stops everybody. Like my son, good looking kid, pretty well taken care of in his life. Athlete, never fucking smiles. Like never. Never laughs too, dude. It's weird. Like he never laughs. And then all of a sudden we'll be watching a TV show or like I'll say something that just tickles his funny bone just fucking right. And he starts laughing and he's like lets out this 10,000 watt smile. And dude, it just freezes you. You're like, where the fuck were you hiding that the whole time? Like, and I'm talking about like, you'll be watching a movie with him that is a funny fucking movie. And he'll be like, huh. And like, that's all you get out of him. I'm like, dude, well, you gotta let that out a little more often, man.
Nice.
I bet you she's the same way.
Possibly. So let's see, what's next? We're back at the Hawthorne School, and they are gathering to anoint and protect Michael during right before his trials. I believe he says they're on the cusp of the blood moon, so, a day or two before the witches arrive back. And so you have the 4 faculty staying there, and Baldwin Pennypacker is the name of B.D. Wong's character. And I would really much rather say Wong the rest of the time, but I'm not going to. But they have his name in IMDb now, so apparently at some point they named him between last week and this week. But Pennypacker has a bowl, and each of the other faculty adds, Chablis adds salt, Moore adds seawater, Ariel adds his blood to the bowl, Baldwin sprinkles it in a circle around Langdon, and he adds the fire to ignite it, and it burns a blue circle of flame on the floor around him. And it's pretty much there. If they call it the circle of power, and it's just kind of, it's kind of like the locker room, everybody's smashing the lockers, getting ready for the game. they're hyping. They're hyping them up,
Yeah, everybody's getting ready for it to happen.
And then once the flame dies down, like even the fire behind him like flames up, and I'm not sure if he did that or if like the spell did that, if Langdon did it or if the spell did it. I don't know who did it, but the flame behind him flames up, and then like all the fires go out in the room pretty much, and everybody's kind of gathered around like congratulating him. And Moore is doing his normal standoffishness, just kind of watching him because we know he doesn't trust him or like him for that matter.
Yeah,
and Michael turns his face and shows Moore the white demon. Like, shows him the face just for a split second.
I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, he shows it to him, and
I just caught him staring. I didn't even know his face slipped.
That's why he stepped back, like he stepped back, like he was visibly shaken, like seeing this kid. And so the next scene, I didn't write it down what he said, but Chablis enters Moore's room. Moore is like furiously packing, and he's holding a bottle of, I don't know. He said, when's the last time something that was 26 walked in your room and wanted to get inside you? And it's like he's talking about whatever bourbon he brought in, and I was like, that's pretty good. But Moore is as he's packing, he's continuing to explain to Chablis like what he's like. I do not trust this kid. I have so many concerns with Michael, and then Chablis, he goes back into his same, like, you're just jealous. You're jealous that, he's going to be better than all of us. And, I'm not going to let you mess up the one chance we have to sit at the head of the table. And I like how I do like in these shows, like when the magic is used just for general shit, like chucking a chair across the room to hold the door shut.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it was just kind of like it was just a really cool shot. And so as Moore was going out the door, like he turns around, drops his bag, and he's like, "Stand down, bitch," and then puts him up against the wall, with his like force choke up against the wall, and he's like, "I'm going to New Orleans, and I'm not jealous. I'm afraid." And you see as Moore leaves and Chablis is released from the wall, like you see him have this like realization. Like, I just saw someone I've known for who knows, decades, I'm sure, who's probably been that cocky dude his whole time he's known him, say he's afraid. That's like, that gets to him at this point.
You know what American Horror Story did, and every movie in the world should pay attention to this?
What?
A person who actually is scared of something tells someone else that they're scared or that they saw the boogeyman in a way that they normally wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
An American Horror Stories character goes, that raises alarms in my own head.
Correct.
Why is it when a kid in a movie telling their parents in the most frantic, terrified way possible, and the parent goes, you just saw a shadow. And like, they just don't, and this is not just a kids and parent thing in movie too. This is like another grown man looking at another grown man with like visible fear and shaking in his eyes going like, I just saw a fucking dinosaur, man, don't go there. And they're like, oh, dinosaur, yeah, whatever. Like, I wouldn't believe you because you've never acted this way ever, Tom. Like, this is completely out of character. Maybe I should pay a little more fucking attention to that.
Right.
American Horror Story did that. I like clapped. I actually clapped at the TV, dude. I was like, yes!
Somebody actually listened.
I was like, finally! A man in true fear is registering with someone else in the same show. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. And sadly, that his fear pays off quite quickly because the next thing we get is he's not far. He pretty much left the outpost and is like stopping at the first gas station he got to. And he's there. He's pumping his gas and a nice little Prius rolls up and a nice lady gets out. Oh, it's Miss Mead.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to kind of blame him because his interaction with her was helpful until the part where he started like leaning up against her car and like having a conversation. Like, I'm going to still have the conversation with you, but I'm walking back around to my car. I'm not standing there while you do your credit card shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dude, get away. Like, go away, because if she wasn't about to kill you, you're being real creepy. You know what I mean? Now, it could have been that overconfidence. I'm a wizard.
I was going to say, dude, that's probably... I'm a warlock. I don't have fucking much to worry about. Like, I literally just pinned another human being who's actually the same quote-unquote power level as me against a wall. Like, what's this little old lady going to do to me? Or for a matter of fact, like, what is that 6'6", 300-pound man going to fucking do to me? You know? Like, right. I'm a warlock. I will literally set you on fire or some shit like that. You know? So, I just think that was... I've never had anything to worry about, and I'm just chatting with this lady.
Yeah, and he's feeling...
I still agree as a normal human being, like, after you've done the helpful part, like, you go back to your side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you maybe do, like, stand there for, like, a half a second longer and go, hey, do you need me to do anything else for you while I'm here? Cool, got it, great, awesome. I'll talk to you later. You know, have a wonderful day, and go about your business. But you're right, like, he's like, I'm gonna... fiddle with my rings, post up on your car, maybe light a cigarette, you know, have like a fucking, like, just chill out, you know?
Yeah, and then that pays off well for her because she drops her purse.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches down, she reaches down, and she cuts both his Achilles heels. Ugh. That's just the worst. Like, that just makes me cringe just watching it. That, you know, that's like Pet Cemetery shit when that kid gets out from under the bed cuts that guy's Achilles heel. You can't go anywhere. You can't move. You can't walk, can't make your foot do anything. It's all fucked. And then she cuts his throat right away because she's not stupid. And she's like, what'd she say? No more spells for you or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Because you can't so he can't speak him to cast him. Of course, I don't know, man. You would think being a wizard for that long, you would have like a defensive, like at least like a push. Like what he did to Chablis, like kind of like as a ready to. You know what I mean? Like, I've been injured, because she gives him a hot second before she cuts his throat.
I wonder, you know, if Miss Mead is... I mean, enchanted's probably not the correct word to use. She's probably more like...
the demon version of
an accepted curse kind of thing. Like, I wonder if she just kind of almost has like a... like, you go to push a door, and like the door handle doesn't work, you know? But the automatic piece kicks in, and you still got to kind of like push it a little stronger than you normally would because it's like kind of bound. Like, I wonder if she just kind of has like a natural
defense
essence about her. So like, if a warlock decided to go crazy or a witch decided to kind of go crazy, because she's Michael's protector, essentially.
Right.
That she's probably packing a little bit of a demonic wallop herself. May not be all Michael's category, but I bet you if a warlock came and tried to fuck with Michael, she could do something about it.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe. She takes him out and she pours... After she cuts his throat, she pours gas on him and hops in her Prius and lights a match and lights him on fire and just drives away.
Yep.
After running your credit card, so...
It's demonic credit card, dude. I guarantee everything she owns is black magic, man. Like, money just appears.
Right. There's no name attached to it.
Like, someone in hell slid up a black Amex and was like, it's unlimited, says Dr. Lucifer on it. Have fucking fun.
Yep.
Just make sure Michael doesn't die. That's all you gotta do.
When you swipe this, it'll just show up as weird. It'll freak the program out. It won't even show anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, because this is the only reason I figured they were close, is the next place she shows up is at the outside of the outpost, and so she must have been real close, and more than likely she was, because Michael rushes up to meet her. He asked her if she's taking care of the problem, and she's like, "Yeah, it's taken care of." And she's like, "You're gonna own those 7 wonders." And she's just giving him her own little pep talk. She's like, "This is exactly what you need to be doing." And he's like, and the best part was he says,
"What would I do without you?"
And her reply is,
"Well, that's something you're never going to have to worry about."
Which I thought was an interesting thing for her to say, especially with us knowing that her image gets made into an android or is already being made. So maybe she already knows about the android being made.
Yeah.
Because, the way she said it was very like something she knows he's never going to have to worry about being without her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I kind of like, because when her and Michael are on the screen, even though they're talking about terrible things, like, it is the most mother-son adorable, like, relationship you can, like, see on TV. Like, right. Kathy Bates just kills it as an evil mom. Like, she is the perfect mom, minus murdering husbands and doing this other stuff. Like, everybody would want a mom like that.
Hello, Misery.
Yeah, yeah. But I kind of wonder also if that's just like the parental. You're right. She did say it like it was very finite, like she knew the outcome. But I also kind of wonder if that's just a parent being a parent, like
right.
when their
blanket reassurance.
Yes. When your kids have that idea one day of you're not going to be around, you always don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. That's something you don't worry about, kind of thing. I think it was a little bit of that too. Like,
I'm sure.
It
was a normal statement for a mother to make or a protector to make, but because we know that she actually is, all parents who say that normally we're kind of lying, because unless the worst thing happens ever,
yeah.
That's the worst thing happens ever, we got to go first. Sorry. But this one, because we know her outcome, it's kind of a double meaning. Like, you don't have to worry because I say this as a mother, but also because they're literally making a copy of me right over here.
That's true, and she may know or maybe she just knows the plan, and that's always been the plan.
Right.
When I'm too old to do it, there's going to be
my android.
There's going to be a robot, and I know Michael said that he built it and designed it after her and stuff like that. So I kind of, with that knowledge and the way she said it,
true.
I kind of think she said it like, "Hey, this isn't something you have to worry about," not really knowing that she was going to be rebuilt or anything. But
and then she does die during the season.
But, yep, there it is. She says it in such a finite way, like, "Hey, I just gave you the reassuring tone. You don't have to worry about it." And something's going to happen to her where, like, I don't know, someone like Mallory kills her because that's what has to happen.
Right.
And then Michael,
ooh man, he's gonna Hulk out so hard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so maybe, but that's where we're gonna see this whole. I guarantee when we see Michael go full on White Walker warlock face thing, is right when Miss Mead dies.
Right. That makes complete sense.
I wouldn't. If someone said place a bet, I'd be like, right then and there. Maybe next episode, maybe 7 episodes from now, or it could be a flashback just to tell us, like he had always known that he's supposed to bring all this shit on Earth. Like, that's his job. But when it gets fully ramped up where the witches are like almost gone completely and all that shit, I bet you is when Miss Mead dies and he just kind of goes, okay, time to get this show on the fucking road.
Right. Even if so we're already in a flashback. All of this is flashbacks because we've seen the present stuff after the apocalypse. So the last shot from this portion of the timeline is literally him like placing the head on the robot or putting the face on the robot, and so it's like one of those like, and I've made her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'll be something like that. But yeah, so she also says, "I'm not the only one who has your back," and then Ariel comes out of the tree line. But I love, like, speaking of the motherly thing, she's like, yeah, he's with us. She's like, but don't mention your father. He doesn't know about that part. He's still on the whole, like, you're a warlock thing. So just stick with that. Ariel he has drank the Kool-Aid. He is all about Michael. He could not see the forest if he was standing in front of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well even when they did the little protection spell on Michael and like all the candles were going out, and I liked how they did it because obviously Moore paid attention and realized the vibe that was going on. But like if you looked at everybody else, like they were totally oblivious to the weird kind of shit that was going on in the background. And even if you pause this scene when they're all kind of agreeing on everything, like Miss Mead and Michael are kind of looking normal, and that dude has the biggest fucking smile on his face. Right. Because I had paused it and I was like, why is that guy smiling like that? But you're right. Like he has drank the Kool-Aid so much so that he thinks that this is his ticket to the top. And he's already like, whatever Michael needs is what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Like, I think he's made his mind up, even if I have to kill other warlocks.
Which is...
I'm going to ride this as long as I can, which is what he just did. Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. So Ariel's in it. So the next scene is what we were talking about earlier is the the silent film style Seven Wonders, which from what I'm understanding and what I'm reading is when the Seven Wonders are described during Coven, it's done in the exact same manner, like in the silent film style shots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a kind of a callback to that. But we see him going through we see him in old film style for 6 of them. You see telekinesis, where he just like brings that
grab the fire poker off the fucking wall or whatever it was. Yeah.
Concilium, which is where it's control of the mind, which is where he makes Madison and Zoe, is that her name?
Yeah.
Is that right? Zoe dance together. Transmutation, which is just, we've seen him do that already when he was doing his test for his level for Warlock. But it's the apparition, appear, reappear type thing.
Yep.
They didn't put a name for this one, but Myrtle like throws rocks or some sort of stone on the floor and he reads them. Then with that, he can tell where an object is. So I labeled it as scrying like he was for the mirror in his Warlock test.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was looking, instead of a mirror, he was using stones or bones or fucking whatever. Pyrokinesis, which was, I don't know why I'm not sure they're trying to show us when he was like, he had a knife, he cut his hand and he sprayed the blood over the fire on a candle and it like made more fire. So, I mean, I guess that's okay. And then,
that one was a little confusing. Like, I guess it was
because I would think pyrokinesis
that I can make. Yeah, that's what I would have thought like.
So is pyrokinesis the control of fire or the ability to create the fire? There's 2 different types, especially when it comes to X-Men. You have one that can create, one that can harness. Like if there's a flame, I can take that flame and do some shit with it. The other one's like I can make flame from nothing.
Well, it says pyrokinesis is purported psychic ability allowing a person to create and control fire with the mind.
So pyrokinesis is the big one. So I don't know what, anyways, but yes. So he messes with the flame of the candle with his blood and makes it flare up more, which we know he can. Yeah. And then Vitalis, he brings a little mouse back to life. So, okay, that's the 6th one. Now, the final test, they come out of the silent movie style thing and we're actually back to being shot normally, and it's the Descensum? Anyways.
Yeah.
Some of this shit doesn't fucking translate, okay? I don't know how to... And everybody says it differently in the show. Because, like, 4 people say the word and 4 people say it completely differently. But Cordelia, this time, when she's speaking to the group and speaking to Michael, she says, I'm not asking you to perform this one. I'm asking you to conquer it. She's like, for this last one, I want you to go and retrieve Misty Day, who died doing this exact same test.
Yep.
And the warlocks are losing their fucking mind. Everybody's like, this is not fair. That's not how this works. Ariel, being a fairly good leader, is like, we need to go have a conversation by ourselves.
Yeah.
So him and Cordelia go off into the office and have a conversation where pretty much where he's just yelling the same shit. Like, this is not fair. This is not how it's supposed to happen. And he calls her weak. And like her response to him is like, I could break your throat with a flick of my finger. She's like, you know, it's one of those, don't take my kindness as weakness. Like, I will fucking kill you in 3 seconds without even trying.
You may think I am dying, but I still got enough juice left in me to ruin everything about you.
Right. And so during this pretty much this cock measuring contest, which she is blatantly winning, the door opens and Langdon's standing there and he's like, I'll do it. I'll go get your friend.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is okay. So this, I had to actually tweet this today when I was watching it, because there's a really cool shot. He's lying on the floor and they're all standing around him and he is speaking in Latin, and the words he's saying translate to lead me in the dark at the end of life to greet the grave. That's what he's saying in Latin. I had to translate it. Thank you, Google. And then he says Descentium, and he starts to fall. Like, you see his point of view, and he starts to fall through the floor. But, like, it was cool because he was, like, right underneath of a circular chandelier, and they're all standing around him. And it was just a really cool, like, really nice, artful shot. Like, and then as he, like, descends into the thing, I kind of got, like, a Get Out feeling, like, where he falls through the chair and shit like that. Like, everything gets far away. It was very cool. So he has entered hell, underworld, perdition, whatever you want to call it. Everybody calls it something different. And it's cool. He's walking down this, like, he appears in this shiny black hallway, dude. Like, everything is like, they went to Lowe's and they bought, like, whatever the high gloss paint is to paint this shit black. And it is pretty. And I like that he doesn't look like he doesn't belong there. He literally walks down the hall with his hands behind his back, just kind of like strolling down the block, and knows exactly which door to go to.
Yeah, he's walking like a warden would down the hall. Like, I mean, I know, everything that goes on in here. And it's cool because he does it in such a way, like, you could tell that it is just in him. Like, no one taught him that. No one was like, hey, when you see these shiny black doors, this is how we walk down the hallway there, son. Like, he just was like, I'm home. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like, it felt natural to him. And he was like, and these are my people. It was kind of weird vibe. They got some nice ass fucking doors, though. You're right, though. Like that
shiny, nice golden knobs. Everything's all nice, ornate and shit.
Yeah,
I think even the door frames had like gold lining around the shiny black. I was like, man, it's a nice hall to walk down.
Hell ain't cheap.
A lot of rich folks down there.
Probably are. You know what? There probably are.
So I mentioned this last week, so I had to go back and watch on YouTube. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but like I watched Misty Day's Hell because I had forgotten what it was because it was like 4 years ago. But like, so her dissecting the frog over and over and over again, and the fact that she couldn't, we did talk about it because she didn't know that she was in hell, or she's not like Madison was in her own hell where she knew she was there. Misty was just stuck in that loop of like bringing that frog back to life, the kid ratting her out, the teacher coming over and making her stab it again. Like that was just her hell for the past however long. You know what I mean? And so we see her hell. We see it again and again and again. And then on like the third time, the teacher, Mr. Kingery, he gets dissected from behind. Like he gets gutted from behind. The same cut they've been making to the frog, he gets made to him. And like he's holding his intestines and shit. And as he falls over, Michael's standing there holding the scalpel.
Yeah, I was like, what did he do? Reach from his back and then cut him from the inside out? Whatever.
It's like, yeah, who cares? It's hell.
I mean, he's the son of Satan, so, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But, again, it was one of those, like, I almost wish his hand was just bloody. Like, that him holding the scalpel, because then I immediately go, like, what did he do? Cut its back and then go through and cut it? Like, if it was just his hand bloody, I'd have been like, oh, dude, he just magicked his fucking hand in his body and spilled his guts out. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm just nitpicking at this point, but it actually genuinely confused me there for a minute when I saw the scalpel. I was like, well, how the fuck did he do that? You know, like not just going.
The
not
same
just
thing
going,
happened to me.
Yeah, not just going. Oh, it's the devil. Ignore it. You know, like I was like, all right, wait a minute. Like, come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's. You're right. The same thing happened when I watched it. And I was like, I get what they're going for, but I am a little bit like, why does he have to have the scalpel in his hand? It's like he's fine.
You know, and also like, I don't even know if I should say it this way, but I don't know how else to say it. But like, how weak-minded are you that a frog coming to life and then another man like stabbing it, like that's your hell?
Because
like after,
well, she's a real
she's a real what? Touchy-feely person?
No, she's a real simple. Well, she's not the smartest tool in the shed. She grew up. She's not real educated, so
well, yeah, I mean,
her levels of what could be the worst thing ever. She killing a living thing destroys her, and I'm sure the idea of like normal school is probably not the great. She probably doesn't have a real. If she did go to like normal public school, she was probably not like the most famous person.
She's
in
probably
school.
ridiculed. Like I guess what I'm, like my point is, and I know they're not supposed to know they're in hell. You know, so every time it happens, you know, the switch gets flicked and you start from scratch. But one of the reoccurring themes that everybody says about hell is like, it's your worst shit, you know? After a certain point, though, like, you get numb to just about fucking anything. So I'm always...
Right, but isn't that part of hell, like, where there is no numbing? That's
what I'm saying.
Off?
Like, I like how in this one, right, they said that they don't know they're in hell. Like, the fact that Madison knew she was in hell was different. Like, I'm glad they pointed that out, because even though I'm nitpicking about, like, why wouldn't you get over a fucking frog that came back to life and stab it? It's just a frog. Like, I understand that the way she was raised and where she came from, that is a major hell. But like shows like Preacher, it's the same principle. But it's like you're locked in there, and then they just show you your worst thing over and over and over. There's no reset. It's like you just live it, and you're like that way. Like, if anything, I'm like, dude, then you're basically just like living in 4chan. After a certain point, you're just going to become numb to fucking everything. Like, hell has to have a Rolodex of shit that they can fall back onto. They have to. Or they have to have that reset switch. Because I feel like I don't care what the worst thing in your life is. If it gets shown to you enough or beaten into you enough, you just become numb to it. Like, it will have zero effect on you.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. But yeah, if they can turn that off, then that would suck.
Yeah, right? Then that fucking sucks. So that was like, I didn't, like, as it was happening, I didn't realize the whole Madison thing. You know, I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. And I was sitting there kind of going, well, I know you brought it back to life, and I know you're not. I was like, I wished it was like a kid they showed instead of her, just as a full-grown woman.
Right.
In there, like, if it would have showed your hell is 13-year-old Jew being picked on and suffering through that I'd have been like, ooh, fuck that. But the fact that it was like a grown adult in there really not knowing they were surrounded by children and stuff, it just kind of took the
juice out of it.
Yeah, the evilness away, I guess you could say. It's kind of like, get over it.
Yeah. Well, and to add to the juice, at least when she looks at him, she goes, "Are you here to save me?" She doesn't look like happy for that to be the case. You can already tell that there's something about him that weirds her out, which we get into a little bit later. But yeah, so she's like, "Are you here to save me?" And then we're back.
Yeah, like, are you here to save me, or are you just here to move me onto something worse?
Yeah. Right. Or like, what are you type thing. And then, so we're back in the library, and Langdon sits up in a gasp. Like, he does one of those whole, like, wake ups, you know, and he's
Dude, that was a good one, man.
It was good, too.
Yeah, you need to save that one. That was a good one.
And so he wakes up, like, alone. So everybody who rushes to him's like, well, you fucking failed. You suck. Like, way to go. I guess you didn't pass it. And, like, just as everybody's just getting their digs in fact, I think Myrtle is in the middle of, like, getting ready to, like, just lay into him in, like, pure Myrtle style. Like, smoke and ash start coming out from next to him. And I love the way that the CG for this.
Yes. The way they put her back together.
It started from inside out. There was, like, bones and then flesh, and then she was there. And it was great. It was marvelous. And sadly, you get Sarah Paulson crying, but I feel like you may have messed her up because she didn't cry like she normally did. I bet she was thinking about you when she was filming that scene.
I mean, if she was, that would be utterly amazing. I don't think she is. and it's like, it's not that I don't like her cry. I mean, I still don't know what to do when women cry. Like, it's a fucking flaw I have. I don't understand
I
it.
really hope that she wasn't thinking about that one tweet she got about her cry face.
But, like,
it was a better cry. That, like, it wasn't as unsettling as it.
I think what, like, got me so bad last season was, like, when she was crying and stuff like that. Like, the scene didn't always call for that amount of, like, berserk.
Yeah, she was definitely she was definitely hyper sensitive last episode. This episode, she's crying, but as a powerful leader, which is probably why she didn't cry as ugly as last season. So
true. Yeah.
It's not us. Trust me, it's not us.
I do. Sarah Paulson does this one thing that is like the cutest thing ever. So I don't know who she was talking to, but it's one of the scenes where she's sitting at the dinner table and like she's turned sideways talking to someone that's sitting on the same side of the table as her. And someone walks in through the door, and I don't remember, but she does this thing where she's like this little tee-hee-hee kind of like laugh because they're excited, like this little tee-hee. Dude, when she does that, I'm like, I don't understand why I find that so attractive coming from a grown woman, but god damn it if she doesn't do it spot on. Like, and it's so funny because it's like it looked real. Mm-hmm. To me in the show. Like, I mean, I know they're actors, it's supposed to look real, but like that one almost looked like an uncontrollable one. Like, I'm supposed to look at him and be happy, and then all of a sudden she just kind of goes tee, and I was like, huh.
It's when the scene you're talking about is when Stevie Nicks arrives.
And
they're both sitting there, and like Misty is so happy to see Stevie, and like Cordelia is happy for that, and that's where you get that like tee hee hee like that.
Yep. And her tongue
that's exactly what happened.
And her tongue kind of goes over her teeth, dude. Like, that shit got burned into my brain. I was like, yep. I was like, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So before that though, after Cordelia's like hugging Misty, Langdon, he got up from where he was on the floor, but he's like sitting up against a table, like the boy's winded. Like in wrestling, in like pro wrestling, like he's blown. Like he blew himself up real hard. Like he's like, I need a minute. Just give me a second. I gotta catch my breath here for a minute. At this point, Langdon stands from the table, and like you get that same sound effect we were talking about earlier, like where something got magicked in the room, and then Cordelia's nose starts to bleed. This is when like Chablis comes in. He's like, this is what happens. The old Supreme starts to fade as soon as a new Supreme is known. And then the girls are complaining, and Langdon makes his stand this time. Like, he stands up, he said, I did everything you asked me to do. And he makes this like bravado speech. It's the first time since they've seen him, he's not playing that meek boy character. He's like, I did everything I did. I brought your friends back. I am the next Supreme. And you see like it like the shot of, it's like from the side of Michael's face, and Chablis is on the far end, and it goes from being focused on Michael to being focused on Chablis, and he realizes that you can see his face where he's like, fuck, Moore was right. Like, this dude's not cool. Like, something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could definitely see the truth setting in on him. Kind of like, oh, fuck, we may have backed the wrong horse. Or one of those like, oh, fuck, I better stay in his good graces. You know, kind of vibe.
He's like,
I realize he's evil, but this is where I've hitched my wagon to, so I better just fucking stay on his good side.
And Cordelia responds saying that it is no doubt you're the next Supreme, and then she collapses again. And so she wakes up later. Everyone's gone from the library. It's just her and Myrtle and Misty there. She's laying on the couch. Misty brings her some tea. I did really enjoy, like, this is my favorite line of Cordelia's, like, the whole episode, is she tells her that
I knew you for such a short time, and I've missed you forever.
Like, she's just happy to have her friend back and another fellow witch.
Yeah. It was something you hope you know somebody well enough that they would say to you if you were gone for a long time. You're like, damn, that would make me feel really fucking good.
And this is where Misty talks about Michael, and she's like, that guy you sent to get me, you shouldn't have sent him. You should have left me there. Like, he gave me the heebie-jeebies. And we flash back to hell after he gets the teacher, And then all the kids in the class, like, this was good creepy time. Like, all the kids in the class, like, they throw their heads back and open their mouth and they roll their eyes back. And then, like, there's, like, demon noise. It's the only thing I can make it sound of it. And she said, look, evil was speaking to him. Like, and he was listening. And then and Cordelia's like, well, maybe he was negotiating your release. And she's like, no, his soul is like no soul I've ever encountered. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but he smells like the perfume of death. Like, whatever he is not normal. Is what Misty's like. This is when she's like, I'm not an educated person. Mm-hmm. He just smells like wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
he smells bad.
Yeah, basically going, I may not have a college degree or any other shit, but I know evil, I know wrong, I know bad when I feel it, when I see it.
So this is where Cordelia reveals her plan. Like, she's like, he'll never be supreme. Like, I just used him to get all my girls back. And now I also know how powerful he is and what I have to do. That was her whole thing. Like, her plans had never been to make him supreme. She knows she's going to have to fight his ass. And now she has all of her girls back to fight with her.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool sleight of hand right there. You know, 'cause I honestly didn't see it coming. Like, I just really thought it was go prove it kind of vibe. Like, I totally wasn't up with her as she was moving her own chess pieces around.
And that's why she's like, supreme. And you're just a worthless man.
Yeah. Me and my piece of shit male brain, man. I fucking couldn't keep up with it.
Your flaccidness and your impotence, you just stick it in your ass. Sorry.
Yeah.
You are not even close to supreme, buddy.
Nope. I'm not even worthy of sex.
Too much testosterone. Oh man, and this is where, like we said earlier, Misty starts saying that she's like, Miss Cordelia, I'm lost. I don't know. I'm not all here yet, so I don't know how much I can help you. And she's like, it's okay. All you need, you just need to heal. And then so we know it's later on in time, and we see a dark figure in shadow walking down the hallway. And then we get to the table where all the witches are eating. Actually, all the witches are just hanging on the table, and like Misty's just shoveling food into her mouth because she hasn't eaten for 4 years or whatever it is in hell. So she's just eating away, and then Stevie Nicks magics the doors open, of course, because why use your hands when you can do it anyways?
I would never, ever. Well,
I would never touch a doorknob again.
You know how sanitary that would be in general?
Yeah, you'd be so clean all the time.
Like, dude, it would be great. I wouldn't go to like school and touch the door handle and then walk away with fucking skin cancer. You know, like.
So while you didn't like the fact that Stevie Nicks had to sing a song in this episode, you have to admit her entrance was pretty fucking awesome.
No, it was. I was more mad. Yes, the song, like, if
the
it was
song
just
is what
like
messed it up.
Clip of her singing, like, that would have been cool. But again, I still think it was like underutilizing someone super famous. Like, yes, we all know she can fucking sing, man. Like, you're telling me, unless it was Stevie herself, it was like, yo, I'll be on your show because everybody knows I kind of do witchcraft on the side, but I'm singing. That's what I want to do. Okay, cool. Stevie, you've been around fucking long enough, made enough money, done enough careers. You can tell people what to fucking do. Go right ahead.
Maybe she's not that good of an actress.
6-minute song.
True. But the only thing this song did good, because you're right, we got to see a shot of every person while that song was happening. So you got to see all the wizards and all the witches. And Pennypacker's playing the piano. You have Michael, and Ariel is up the one story up, and like Ariel's like toasting him like silently with his champagne glass, and Michael's just kind of watching over everybody. Chablis is sitting on the stairwell. Cordelia's kind of leaning against the wall in the back, and then Madison's sitting on one of the couches watching, and then you hear the magic noise, the whoosh, and she suddenly turns around and looks at Cordelia. So Cordelia like texted her like via witchness. And so Cordelia walks out, Madison follows her, and then like Chablis watches them leave, and you see him like, okay. And then they, we finished the 8-minute song. And during this, like when Misty gets up to dance, like there's some more of that like magic whooshing noises a few times. So I'm not saying to go do it right now, Corey, but go watch it that scene again and see if you don't catch the magic that's supposedly happening during this song, I think she's healing Misty from when she said she was not quite there and not quite grounded back in this reality yet. I think that's what the White Witch came to do, is to fix her.
All right. I'll buy it for now.
Turn your bass up. There's a little bit of whoosh. So anyways, the next thing we see as the song ends, which, by the way, she sang Fleetwood Mac's Gypsy, just so everybody knows what song she was singing. And I don't want to, like, Stevie Nicks is a goddess when it comes to music. Like, you know, but I don't know. She's I kind of expected a little bit better from her. I'll say it.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I'll say it. I expected better. If your voice is going, then stop singing. I know it's all you've done for 30, 40, 50 years, but when it's time, baby. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't, it's like.
And her voice, because she had such her voice when she was in her prime is that gravelly voice. So it's hard. That's going to do dangerous shit to your fucking vocal cords by the end of by your later years. So it's okay. Like, it's okay, baby. Like, it's fine. Like, you are a goddess. Like, don't worry about it. But dang it. Like, I think if the song had been better, like if she had sang it better, you probably wouldn't have hated it as much. But it wasn't that good of a song. It wasn't that good of a song.
They didn't.
It was straight up like
her. It was just her singing. Like,
yeah.
There was no auditory sampling or no like, hey, we're gonna clean that up a little bit. Which
good for her. Bravo, because you know what? I'm fucking
but
Stevie Nicks. You don't have to fucking do that.
Yeah,
I'll sing what I want to sing.
I honestly wish they would have brought her in and like let her speak. Like let her say something instead of just, hey, I'm here to fucking croon you a tune.
Yeah, like her whole line was like, "Hey, witches," like when she walked in. That's all she got. The rest was singing. So, anyways, last part of the scene after Misty and Stevie are dancing and healing, maybe. Madison and Cordelia are off on one of the upper levels, like overlooking stairwell hallway type things, and they're discussing. Madison's like, "Why am I going there?" And Cordelia's telling her, "Just use all your powers, all of your training, and find out everything you can about Langdon." Cordelia's telling her that Langdon's a danger, and then as she's giving this whole speech, Chablis busts through the door. He's like, "When do we leave?"
I like him, man. He's a good dude.
His line:
"If eavesdropping paid money, I'd be richer than Amazon."
I was like, "Yeah, you would." Oh, that's great, dude. That's fantastic. That's great. And then at this point, we get what's been building since his confrontation with Moore early on in the episode, is that he's like, "I have my own concerns about him as well. Like, I've got a bad gut feeling." And so he's like, so Cordelia's like, "Well, I guess you all are going together." And he's like,
"Great."
So those two together is going to be magic.
Yeah, you got gay snarky versus prom queen snarky. Like, it's gonna get real vicious real quick.
Yeah, and them plus Jessica Lange next week is just going to be magic. I don't even know how to explain it, which is fine. If next week's episode is awesome as well, this episode will serve as a great bridge between the two episodes.
Yeah,
this does a lot of good setup. Like the one before last week's episode that you thought was really awesome was a great setup episode. And this one's a good setup for the next section of it where they're going to Murder House and we get to go into all that shit too. So that's it. And they show us the paper to Madison. She's like, "Why is this so important?" She's like, "This is where it's all began." And of course we just get a shot at Murder House and everybody's like, drop the mic. Everybody's losing their mind on Twitter. "Oh shit, Murder House, blah, fucking Jessica Lange's back, fuck yeah." And we see that in like the trailer for next week. It's just, everybody can't wait. And you know what? We can't wait for the next episode, which is the greatest thing ever this season, because we did not have that last season. I cannot wait.
That's true. Do you think it's actually going to be Jessica Lange?
You think they didn't get her back there? I mean, there's someone there smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, what I'm saying, and all we saw from the
was the back
preview was the back of the head coming down the stairs. So like, I'm wondering if it's one of those things where it's like they're going to have a conversation from that angle because she's a ghost in the house.
It would suck.
And not actually be her.
I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine if they're going to show the back of her head like that, like they got her back. But also, Jessica, like, a couple years ago was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
They have her listed in the episode on IMDb, but it doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
So I don't know, but they have people who are listed as like actress. So I don't know how they get the list for everybody, but who knows? But yeah,
I mean, I would imagine it's actually her, because I just feel like if it wasn't gonna really be her, they would have never shown her hair, her cigarette, her walk, kind of thing. Like, but I do wonder, what are they gonna do with the anti-aging? Like, is it gonna be, because they're gonna go to the house? So what ghost are we gonna get at Jessica? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it gonna be like her as Michael grew, like to when Michael died or whatever? Because we don't know. Or not when she died, you know what I'm saying? So is it just going to be like whatever was the last version of her left? Or is it going to be the one that had, little baby Michael that
right,
was like
so
feeding him? Like, so are they going to show her like 30 years ago?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Well, we will see in a few days, which is awesome. I cannot wait for the next episode. And it's a good feeling with American Horror Story to be excited to see what happens next. Not like, what can they do to fuck it up this week? Which is pretty much how it was all during Cult.
Yeah. What are they going to do to annoy me now?
Right. So.
Yeah, now this season for anybody that had some shit to say about American Horror Story, like Two Dads Review did.
Last season.
They're pretty much going, fuck you. Here's what we can do, you jackasses. Like, sorry Trump got fucking elected and we had to go off the rails real quick. Yeah, this is definitely a big F you to everybody else. And honestly, like, if you're watching this season and you go, I don't like it, I don't fucking hate it, I don't understand TV, because that's how all you fuckers sound, you're stupid. Just flat out dumb. This is a great fucking season.
Yep.
Like, you can go, I don't like witches, I don't like warlocks, but if you're just watching this show for the story and the acting, there is no way you can not like this.
Well said. Shall we finish on that?
Yes.
We should. Don't forget, check out twodadsreview.com if you didn't find us there. Links to all the great places you can listen to us are on that site, as well as just listening to it on that site also. And you can also check us out at Two Dads Review on Twitter. Most places that are social media, you'll see where the shows are. Make sure wherever you listen to us, subscribe, and also hit that notification button, just so you make sure you catch all the new episodes. And we thank you to everybody who made it this far, and we'll catch you guys next week for episode 6 of American Horror Story. Check you later.
Later, Gator.